Welcome back to ROM Detectives. Today we're going to be playing Tecmo, and I'm going to show you how to turn the CPU into a feeble, pathetic loser. The reason I got the idea for this game is when I was younger, my older brother really loved Tecmo. He wanted to play it all the time, and he got really good at it to the point where he could destroy the CPU, and he wanted a human opponent to make things more interesting. So he would always ask me to play, and every time I would, he would just absolutely just destroy me. And so he got to the point where he'd have to beg me to play because I didn't want to just lose over and over and again, but he would still destroy me every time, so I just swore off playing against him. And that made me wonder, why doesn't this game have difficulty settings? I could bump up my, or he could weaken his team, I could strengthen my team, and then we would be able to do that. Now you can, of course, just have them play Indianapolis and you play New York every time, but this I'm going to show you how to do some of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to pick New York because they were always my favorite team in Tecmo Bowl. And we were playing Chicago. Ooh, that's a tough team. All right, so the game starts with a kickoff. Always player 2 kicks off to player 1. But we're going to, I'll show you the first thing that we can do to make things a little easier for you. We're going to go to Tools, Cheats, add a new cheat. For the description, we're going to say CPU kicks poorly. And then I'm going to come in here for format and switch to custom and put in 059F:01. What this is going to do, this functions the same way that Game Genie codes work. I'm going to tell the system to, in memory address 059F, which is right here, always have the value 1. And when you're talking about the kicking system in Tecmo Bowl, there's a gauge up at the top of the screen that starts off really small and goes to being completely full. If you kick it when it's full, kick the ball when it's full, you get a really good kick. But if you kick it when it's really mostly empty, it's a really weak kick. And so what I'm going to do is, this is telling the CPU to always immediately kick. Don't bother waiting, just kick right away. And it always ends up resulting in a really weak kick. So then you can then move your way on and go ahead and usually get around to the 50-yard line or so. So that's the first thing that you can do to make things really interesting, or to make things easier for you when you're playing against the CPU. Just make it so that they kick like garbage every time. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a little close to the first down line right here, and I'm just going to make sure that I don't pass it. I'm going to go ahead and get to the 4th down. Okay. Now, ordinance saying, hey, you're 4th and 1. Are you sure you want to try? Maybe you should kick. I'm not going to kick because I'm going to go to Tools, Cheats, and create a new cheat. This time I'm going to say player 1 gets 5 downs. And we're going to set that to, this is a bit more complicated of a code, but it's 8527:05:04. And the way this works is, we're saying at memory address 8527, which is down in the program ROM, if you see a value of 4, change it to a value of 5. And this address is where player 1's, the number of downs before a turnover is. So I'm at, or if it's at 4, which it will be, switch it to 5. And I say, okay. And now, 4th and 1, I'm going to purposely not get a first down. I'm just going to hang out here. There should be a turnover at this point, but there isn't. It's now 5th and 1. Now, assuming they don't call my play, I can go ahead and get my first down. There we go. So that's one thing that you can do. This, by the way, that first cheat, the CPU kicks poorly, that only works when you're playing against an AI. This one, however, the player 1 gets 5 downs, this will work when you're playing against a 2-player game. In fact, you can also come in here and say player 2 gets, let's say, 2 downs. And then we're going to come down to custom. This is in a different address, 912E, and we're going to say set it to 2 if the value is 4. And interestingly, the game actually has the same code check for whether you've run out of downs, whether there's a turnover, in 2 separate spots. I'm not entirely sure why, because the same code could be used. At no point would you ever have a different number of downs per player when it comes to turning over. It's possible that they originally designed the game with this intention, or it may just be that this was a way to optimize the game code better. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just set it to field goal. I'm going to just not kick and let him go ahead and run me over. And then this will turn over. Okay. Now, Chicago's a good team, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stop them. But we'll try here. Nope. Let's try again without passing. I'm going to pick a pass and see if I can take him out running. Okay. Sorry, Peyton, you ain't going nowhere. All right. Now let's see. He doesn't know it yet, but if he doesn't get the first down on this one, he is not going to get a first down. Oh, come on. I'm trying to show off something here. Quit being so good, Chicago. Let's try this one more time. All right. He's got to make it now. If he doesn't make it now, he is not going to. There will be a turnover. Okay, I think I can do this guy. There we go. Boom. Okay. Now you'll notice it didn't pop up the kick menu, which it normally does on a fourth down, because the game is hard-coded to say only bring that open on the fourth. So he didn't even get the option to kick. He didn't know that he was going to get a turnover at this only a second down. One other thing that we can do, and this is another one that hurts the CPU only, but it's CPU always picks play one on defense with an S. And we'll set this to custom, another long one. This is 82C6 A909 add. Okay, and what this means is the CPU is always going to pick run one. This is something that I think is a fantastic, well, not the CPU always picking run one, but this concept of allowing the CPU to pick a play, and then you have to pick a play, and then if they match, your defensive line just crumbles. And I think this was a fantastic game design idea, because video games are not meant to 100% simulate reality. You know, that's if that's what you're into, that's fine. I don't find that very enjoyable. I like it when you actually really gamify things by making them strange and unique. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick run 2, and guaranteed the CPU picked run 1. So this will make sure that I don't have to worry about them calling a play. But if I do pick run 1, which I'm going to do right now, it guarantees that the CPU is going to call my play and destroy me. And what I can also do is I can put into this cheats, and I can say CPU always picks play 1 on offense as well. And let me do custom, and this is 8EC5 A909. Put that into play. Okay, and then I'm just going to, let's do what I did before. I'll do a field goal, and I just won't kick. And I'll just let them come in and wipe me out just to switch sides. Okay, now, guaranteed he's going to choose run 1, because that's what I'm going to choose. And we are going to annihilate him. And I can do it again. He's picking run 1 again. And there we go. And he still only gets 2 downs. So that's, now you can actually make it to where it's not always play 1. The reason I'm doing that is because it's easier code-wise. If you wanted to choose like play 2 or play 3 or play 4 in there for having the CPU always pick it, you can. But it'll just require more codes. So I'm going to real quick just turn all these off. And that's also if you get tired of always picking the same play, or you want to be able to use run 1 for a change, you can just turn those off. Another thing that you can do is, and this is where things get a bit more complicated, you can write a Lua script. Modern emulators will support Lua scripting. This is one that I wrote, which will show you which play the CPU picks, or actually player 2 in this case. So I'm going to start it up, and you'll see it's now highlighting run 1, which means that's the one that the CPU has picked. I'll give you a real quick rundown of what this code does. The box coordinates are just the locations for where these white boxes are on the screen. Let me scoot this over a little bit. Set up cycling colors. That's for it switching colors around here so you know which one's highlighted. And then in here we check for the play menu. That's whether we're in the menu versus in the game. Whether we're ready, that's if both players have selected a play, that means you're ready. And then the kick menu is whether that kick menu is open and which item is selected. And then this check says if we are in the play menu and we're not ready and the kick menu is closed, then we move on to here where we read from this address 00A8. That's where the CPU picks a random play. Then we normalize it down here to 1 to 4 because it's not stored that way in the game's memory. And then we use, we pick a new color to cycle through on the palette, and then we draw a rectangle where the box is. Now, because I know that the CPU is going to choose run 1, I can say, all right, well, I'm going to choose run 2 then. So here we go. We don't have to worry about them calling a play. And now we're going to come back in. Oh, run 1 again. So do I still have that cheat turned on? No, I turned it off. Okay, I'll show you something. This is something I always thought that the game would cheat on me. Because every now and then, you know, I'd be 4th and 1, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to try. And then, of course, they would call my play. And I'm like, oh, you cheating CPU. I'm sure the programmers put in there every now and then just sort of pick the one that they picked. But they don't, and I can prove that here. I'm going to bring open the kick menu and then cancel, and you'll notice it switched. And I'll do it again, and it switches again and again, and now we're into the passes. So the game randomly picks it each time the play menu comes up, and also each time that the kick menu comes up. But it picks it before you do. So I can then say, all right, I'm going to pick run 1 now, and I know that it's picking pass 2, so I know that it's not actually cheating. So that's just something I think is kind of nice. If you ever thought that the CPU was cheating you in here, it's not. It does pick randomly. Sometimes you just get unlucky. So this is something that I think is really fun. By the way, this script, you can get it at romdetectives.com. Go to the website and then go to Tecmo for the game. You can do a search on the all games or type it in. Or I think right now, if you go there, Tecmo is the most recently updated game. And then go to the Lua page, and you can just copy this text from the page and save it into a file, and then you can come up here to the open and then pick it and then open it, and then if you hit play, in this case it's already running, stop turns it off, start or play starts it back up again. So that's something that you can do to make it the CPU. You can just completely dominate the CPU. You can call their play every time and never let them call your play. You can make it so that they only have 2 downs or even 1 down if you wanted. Give yourself 9 downs and make sure that they can't kick for crap either. So these are all sorts of things that you can do to either make the CPU garbage or adjust the difficulty. If you're too good and you're playing against your son or something and you want to make sure that they have a fighting chance, give them 5 plays, give yourself 3 plays. It'll make things a lot more interesting. So anyway, that's it for today. Again, like and subscribe, go to romdetectives.com, and I hope you've learned something here, and I'll see you on the next one.